Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we get a chance to look at another of the 2019 Collecta prehistoric lineup, and this is their 2019 Deluxe Caiuajara. Now, I don't know for sure if I actually pronounced the name correctly because this is a pterosaur I'm not too familiar with. In fact, until this model, I don't know that I've ever actually heard of it, so that's a very cool thing on the part of Collecta to, as always, be producing such obscure species that I am not too familiar with. And because of Collecta, I have since learned about this species a little bit, so that's a very, very cool factor from Collecta that they can introduce me to species that I've never heard of before, and not just me, all sorts of people, including children, which do tend to buy these figures for themselves to play with, so it's awesome that even children will then learn about species like this. But as I said, this is a deluxe figure, so it's huge. It's an absolutely huge figure. Now, they have actually a deluxe line of pterosaurs that are specifically huge. There are two others, I think, at this point, and then this is the newest. So I love the fact that they are continuing to introduce more pterosaurs into this line, and not just pterosaurs in general, but absolutely massive looking pterosaurs, because this is another gigantic figure here by Collecta, and if you don't believe me, you'll see for yourself very soon. But regardless, let's get a closer look. So if we start up here at the head sculpt, you can see that the overall detailing of the head and the face area is just absolutely incredible looking. There is just so much as far as, like, if we get close, so much as far as very, very small, very fine detailing that has been put into the head sculpt of this pterosaur. Everywhere you look, it just looks, in general, so insanely well sculpted. All over the place, there's just so much, even to the point here of adding a little crack into the edge of the crest of the pterosaur. Super nice touch. Very, very cool on the part of Collecta. It does also have an articulated jaw like all of these larger pterosaur figures have. You can see the tongue in there. It's all a very nice, very realistic looking coloration, so that's a very cool touch. In addition, there having the articulated jaw, the eye is just a blackish coloration, but it's been given a nice gloss to really make it look very real. I really like the eyes all the time on these pterosaurs. I think they in general just look very realistic and kind of give me the feeling of it staring at me. On top of the incredible sculpting of the head, you can see there is all sorts of absolutely beautiful looking paint applied. Very nice darker coloration around the nostrils, which the nostrils themselves have a lot of very nice detail to them also, but the addition of that darker coloration really helps to elaborate the nostrils. Very nice touch on the part of Collecta, and you can see it starts out on like a yellowish coloration, and it very beautifully and naturally transitions into an orange, and I think that really helps to give the entire head a very striking look. And then it transitions again into like a reddish coloration, but then we get the addition of this blue and red and black and yellow and so many different variations of color up here on the head with this very intricate design that it does have on the head crest. And I think that it looks very cool and definitely not something that would be unnatural. I could totally see a pterosaur having a very flashy design like this on the head crest, so that's super cool on the part of Collecta. Just how real, but so flashy and honestly very striking looking this figure is. As you can see, when you move down here by the eye, it starts to pick up lots of pycnofibers, and you can see that there's a nice blue kind of ring around the eye to really help elaborate the eye and differentiate it from the black coloration that is in the face. So I think that's another very nice touch. It's got a very beautifully painted throat here, a nice blue coloration similar to the eye and what we see up here on the crest, and then kind of a little hint here of white along the rear of the eye coming down into the throat. Really showing you how nice the pycnofibers and the sculpt work of that is. You can see a seam here in the throat, and it is because of it being in that white area, it's pretty visible, but I don't really mind that too much. As we run down the throat, you can again see how nice the pycnofibers are. They really look beautiful. Even on the underside, just look how incredibly well sculpted that all is. Very beautifully done. As you look up here, you can kind of get an idea of the shoulder blade protruding from the skin, and then you move down here, you can see some very nice sculpt and detail in the actual skin flap here of the wing. And we move all the way down, and then it transitions from that black coloration into a yellow with some darker color here on the actual fingertips and nails. and it looks super cool. Again, giving it just a very flashy look as you run out the length of the wing, and as I said, very nice detail and sculpt within the actual skin flap. Really, really beautifully done. Collecta did not skimp out anywhere as far as that goes. And then we look up here again at the back. You can take note of those beautiful pycnofibers that run the entire length of the pterosaur back here into the tail. And the hip area, you can see the hip right here protruding from the skin, and you can almost get a sense of musculature here in the rear leg. Very, very nice as it runs down here into the feet, and the feet transition back into that yellow coloration. Very nicely done. Black nails that are also very nicely painted. And we get another area of a skin flap kind of area with some nice light gray, really making the entire thing just look really flashy. Very nicely sculpted tail again with those beautiful pycnofibers here in the back. And then the wings are kind of in pretty much the same position on both sides. It's in a very neutral position, so you're not going to see too much as far as different sculpt work goes on this side as opposed to the other side. It's pretty much the same, but very, very nice looking. And then we come up and look at this side of the head. Again, really flashy, really beautiful, and it kind of transitions to a darker orange even up here on the tip to really make the entire thing just look really beautiful. As far as a size goes, now I told you this is a big pterosaur, and this is the point in time where you're probably going to believe me. If we go from the tail to the tip of the beak, you're looking at about 8¼ inches or about 21 centimeters. And if we go for a height, and this is probably the area where you're going to really see just how large this is, from the ground to the top of the crest, you are looking at about 9¼ inches or about 23 and a half centimeters. For a size comparison, yes, that is Mr. Papo T-Rex. Look how small, honestly, he looks compared to this pterosaur. This pterosaur could probably eat Mr. Papo Rex if he really wanted to. So this here should definitely give you a very good idea of the size of this pterosaur from Collecta. It is honestly massive. And again, Mr. Papo Rex here is not a small figure, so that shows you that this pterosaur is quite the gigantic figure. So this is an absolutely awesome rendition of the Caiuajara from Collecta. I think they've done a beautiful job portraying this pterosaur in complete beauty with the way that this has been sculpted. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, it's not even a reddish color here. This is actually pink. I'm completely colorblind today, apparently, because I believe I said that was red before, but it's actually pink. But they've done such a great job on the overall coloration of this pterosaur, making the entire thing just look so natural but so incredibly flashy. This is definitely the kind of thing that if you were ever out in the wilderness and you happen to see one of these fly by you, obviously you're going to be amazed by the fact that you just saw a pterosaur. But if pterosaurs were common, the flashiness and catchiness of the entire paint scheme and color scheme would draw your attention straight to it. So I can assure you that if you purchase this pterosaur and you throw this in your collection, it's definitely going to be one of those figures that attracts a lot of conversation because it is honestly so striking and so beautiful. Not to mention the fact that it's absolutely huge. So that's also another thing that's going to probably draw people in. I love the fact that Collecta continues to produce these larger pterosaur figures because I really am a big fan of this line, and I really love this. I hope they continue to make large pterosaurs like this in the future, and more pterosaurs that I'm actually unaware of, because I love the fact that this is honestly something that I hadn't known of previously. There are probably a lot of pterosaurs I don't know of, and this is very cool to find out of another pterosaur that I had never heard of before. A very, very cool looking and very beautiful rendition of this pterosaur. So if you do want to buy this, and I can completely recommend that you do because it is honestly that beautiful, go ahead and check the description because I will include a link to where you can purchase this incredible pterosaur on everythingdinosaur.com. It is without question a 100% recommendation from me, an honestly beautiful rendition of this pterosaur. So definitely head over to everythingdinosaur.com, pick yourself up one of these incredible figures from Collecta. But before you do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and then I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.